Hello, Torah community. It's Rav Natan here to share with you some words of Torah today on Yom HaAtzmaut about this important day and time in our history, as well as for Shabbat Parshat Kedoshim. This week was a very big week. We had Yom HaZikaron on Wednesday, Yom HaAtzmaut today, and we, as a Jewish people, have to think about what is it that is going on, big picture right now. The word Yom HaAtzmaut, it means Israel's Independence Day, but Atzmaut actually has a shorish. The word etzem. Etzem means a bone. What is the connection between Yom HaAtzmaut and a bone? So there's a Haftorah that we read on Shabbat Chol HaMoed, which is about the time of Geula, the time of redemption. It talks about, the Navi talks about how all the bones that are in the ground of the people who died throughout history all of a sudden come out of the ground. They're mere bones, but they come out of the ground. They get up, they flesh, muscle, form into real bodies, people alive again, clothed, and with that renewed body and strength and vigor, they end a walk from wherever they are to Eretz Yisrael. And when you think about the idea of being a nation who, before Medinat Yisrael, we had a state of Israel, in many ways, Jewish people we were wandering around the world. We didn't have a sense of safety, a sense of security. We were almost like bones, dry bones. And yet, thinking about the process toward Medinat Yisrael, and since we've now had Medinat Yisrael for 74 years, it's given our nation, Am Yisrael, a life, flesh, muscle, and a sense of passion and strength and courage to now exist as a nation in a way that we have not in thousands of years. And I think, well, that's true in the physical sense. And we have so much to be grateful for, that Am Yisrael is now living at a time, we are living at a time where we are strong and we are healthy as a nation and we are growing as a nation, and we have an army to protect us and a place for us to go that's our own. And yet, at the same time, spiritually, there's something very powerful here. Parshat Kedoshim is full of mitzvot, and many of the mitzvot that are in Parshat Kedoshim are mitzvot hatuliyot ba'aretz. The mitzvah of shechacha, leket, peah, mitzvot of a farmer in Eretz Yisrael needing to set aside at different stages for the poor. The mitzvah of orla, to wait 3 years cutting your trees. Netar revai, to bring the fourth year fruits to Yerushalayim. All these mitzvot that for thousands of years people are not keeping, and now all of a sudden, living in Eretz Yisrael, being Am Yisrael in Eretz Yisrael, we can keep. It's not only revitalizing us as a nation from bones to flesh, but also spiritually. We're now living a spiritual life that we haven't lived in thousands of years. Rav Tzvi Rimon, who is a posek, a halachic decider, as well as just a big community rabbi in a lone shut in Israel, a big rabbi in the Dati community, he always says that his favorite questions are the questions about the Israeli army and questions about from Jewish farmers. Why? He said, because those kinds of questions haven't been asked to rabbis for thousands of years. But now, being Am Yisrael in Eretz Yisrael with an army, we have these kinds of questions about how to live a Torah life as a tzavah. And we have people who are growing and cultivating the actual land of Israel and how to do that according to the Torah. So to appreciate the etzem of Yom HaAtzmaut, this idea that our bones of a nation have become out of the ground, strength, flesh, coming back from all corners to Eretz Yisrael to physically and spiritually be in a place of strength. So we thank Hashem, Shechanu v'kiyumanu v'higyanu l'zman hazeh, to be living at a time where Am Yisrael is in Eretz Yisrael, and to that we are very, very thankful. Shabbat Shalom and Yom HaAtzmaut Sameach.